Hey girl, hey. Yeah. Let's go. Hey girl, hey. Let's go.
Hey girl, hey, welcome to the Hey Girl, Hey podcast. I'm your host, Kim Miller. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode, my most excited episode ever.
Thank you.
Okay, let me tell you who I'm here with, because you don't even know how amazing this guest is. But this is my uncle, Uncle Greg. So introduce yourself, not as Uncle Greg, but who are you?
I'm Greg Taylor. I'm Kim's uncle. I'm a builder here in Houston, Texas.
Yes, he's so much more than that. But let me tell you how this came to be, because you're probably like, how did this even happen? How did this come about? So one day, me and Kirby were talking, and we were talking about just being in business and family and that dynamic. And Kirby was like, it seems like Greg has always managed like work life and business and never really seemed to miss a beat, at least from the outside looking in. And I was like, you know what? That is really true. Like, I never remember an era in life where Uncle Greg was off working and we didn't see him for an extended period of time, or he was just not working and always home. Like, it was always seemed like things were moving like constantly. And I was like, how did he manage to do that? So I felt like it would be a very interesting conversation to hear how you managed to have a successful family life as well as a successful business. So we got to get all the way started from the very, very beginning. Okay. So I always ask my guests, like, what was your upbringing like? So obviously you are my family, and I know a very surface level of kind of where you come from and what that looks like. But what was that like for you growing up? So give me like growing up into like high school years for you.
So I grew up 2 brothers, 1 sister. So, 4 total in terms of children. Mother, father, both at the house.
Yes.
Both working parents.
Yes.
My dad was a professor at Baylor College of Medicine. My mom's registered nurse. Yeah. Worked hospitals, worked in the school system. Both my parents worked full-time jobs, sometimes part-time jobs, to make everything work for the family.
Wow.
So we've always been a tight-knit family.
Yeah.
Not just my close family, mother, father, parents, and sisters, but also in terms of my expanded family. Yeah. All my cousins. Yeah. Which there are quite a few of us.
Yes.
So we've always spent a lot of family time together. So that's what started, real disciplined family. Didn't spare the rod.
Okay.
Beneficial for us.
Yeah.
So, coming up through that life, we were always taught to give it our best shot.
Okay.
Try to achieve, not be afraid to stumble. Yeah. I stumble every day, still now. Yeah. Get up every day, see what life's got to offer. Yeah. And just go out and get it. Came up in Houston, born and raised here all my life. Yeah. Seen a lot of the United States, but primarily have lived here all my life. Yeah. So I've come to know a lot about this city. A lot of the things that are beneficial for us as a family. Yeah. And, for me, we were always taught, that the family is the nucleus. You can have a lot in life, a lot of wealth, good health. But if you got family, for me, I got everything. Yeah. The work is something we have to do. It's a sidebar to me for family, because family comes first. God comes first. Family comes next. Yeah. And then the work facilitates what I need to do to, basically have my family. Yeah. Be able to take care of my family's needs and also be able to enjoy my family. So
your both of your parents were working. In that time, was it a thing where you were coming home and kind of preparing dinner, or was it you were coming home and parents were preparing dinner, or your mom was preparing dinner? Like, what did life look like with 2 working parents in that time?
So my parents were always home every night. My parents were always home every night. My dad always did the cooking. Okay. Hence, me. I cook here in my house. Yeah. So my dad always did the cooking. My mom always cleaned the house. Yes. That was our routine. And then weekends, we did everything. Yeah. We cut the yard. We cleaned the house. Yeah. We learned all of those things. I learned to cook from my dad, not so much as a a young child. I didn't really learn to cook from my dad until my adult years.
Okay.
When it became fun to cook. Yeah. It wasn't a necessity, sort of.
Gotcha.
But yeah, they were home every evening. Yeah. They helped with homework every evening. Sometimes, way back when, early on, I can remember my dad had a side job, a janitorial business, and we as kids would go with him. Okay. He taught us how to do that. Yeah. I got a real love for working with hands, not so much building things, but, we joke here because we work on everybody's car here. Yeah. I learned that from my dad. Okay. My dad has always taught us how to use different tools. Yeah. So that was beneficial to us. Okay. So yeah, they were always there.
So we're kind of finding out a little bit of where you get this from a little bit, but still, I still want to hear like how you managed it. Okay, so that's really, really good. So high school, you graduated, you grew up in a home where discipline seemed like it was very present, working hard was very present, and then you get to college. So what was that transition like? How did you know what you wanted to do in college? Did you know, like, what was your headspace going into college?
So my headspace going into college was, I know I needed to go to college. Okay. I knew I came from a family that were educated people. Okay. My dad graduated from Prairie View A&M. Mom graduated from Prairie View A&M. My dad actually taught my mom at the university, and they're very close in age. Okay. But he was a professor's aide. Okay. I don't know what the terminology is now, but yeah, so he taught our classes. That's how they met. Wow. So I went to Texas Southern, didn't complete Texas Southern, although I've instilled in my children to go complete their college careers. I didn't finish. I left early to go start my career. I had an opportunity to go to investment banking. I had a gentleman that offered me the opportunity, basically flashed it in. I had begged for that position for a while, for the opportunity. He called one day and said, the opportunity is yours, but you got to do it now. Okay. So I left.
How many years in?
3 years in.
Wow.
3 years in.
That is something.
Left.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
See, I knew I was going to walk away just learning so much.
Yeah. I left. Sometimes I look back and should I have finished it? Different things for different people. Yeah. Some people have had huge success without ever touching the university. Right. I think the university is good from a discipline standpoint. Okay. It teaches you how to, put your timelines together. Look at the need to stare it in and facilitate that need. So when that opportunity came, I knew, the door wouldn't open again. So I took it.
Okay, so before we get into this, I want to talk about meeting my lovely aunt, because you met her at Texas Southern, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so tell me about that meeting.
I met your aunt and your sister at Texas Southern. Matter of fact, I'm not sure if I didn't meet them the same time.
My mom and my aunt.
They were on the campus, and we were on the main drag of Texas Southern's campus. Yeah, I was sitting with some friends, and they walked by, and one of my buddies that was there at the time knew your mom. Okay, had a class with her or something. And so I made mention of the fact that, who are they? She's fine. That was my notation. Yes. And so he made the initial introduction, but it was just that introduction. Yeah. Just, hey, how you doing? I'm such and such. I'm such and such. Okay. And then I circled back. 2 weeks later, I took a new job. Okay. At they opened a new Kroger's in my neighborhood. Okay. Walking distance from my home. I took a job there in the dairy department. She turned out to be a cashier there. And I saw her flash by again. It's like, hey, I know that girl. Yeah. So that's how it happened.
And then y'all just started meeting and being friends and talk. Like, I need to hear all of it.
We went to so we met, we talked, we visited a little bit. And then another really good friend of mine, childhood friend, ran into them one night at IHOP. She was hanging out with somebody, I'm not sure. I don't think it was guys. I think it was friends of hers. Okay. And he was there. I, came from a somewhat strict house, so I had a curfew. Okay. I couldn't hang out late with them. Okay. Even though, I was first year in college. Yeah. Right? We lived at home. That was my parents' rule. Okay. But he hit me back and said, hey, I ran into these girls. They were talking about you. Ooh. I put in a good word for you. Oh. So then it kept blossoming from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got together. Been like that ever since.
Yes.
It's been a good dream.
It's been y'all are like such a beautiful couple. So funny. They still talk very nasty, you guys, all these years later.
Yeah, it keeps you young.
Okay, so when you first met her, when y'all first started dating, did you like know this was going to be your wife like almost immediately?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't. Prior to Eva, I had been, it sounds weird, but I've been in a relationship. I had a girlfriend before that,
okay.
Right? And it worked for a while. It worked till it didn't work. Mm-hmm. And so, I was first year at college. You think you got the looks that everybody wants anyway. Yeah. So I felt like I could have as a girlfriend anybody I wanted.
Okay.
It's never true. Yeah. It doesn't work that way. But you got to think it.
Yeah.
You got to think good about yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was that girl for me. She had everything I wanted in a woman.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we kept going until we reached a point where she said, hey, this needs to happen.
Yeah.
Or I'm moving on.
Okay.
Type of deal. So,
sometimes you got to put a little bit of heat to it.
You got it.
And look at y'all now. And y'all been married how many years?
Ooh. So I had to back up. My daughter's 36. So I'm going to say 38, 39.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, when you get in those high numbers, it's good. It's all amazing.
It's just like every year's a new year.
Yes. Okay, we may talk more about that in a little bit. But okay, so I want to get back into your work story. So you got this opportunity in investment banking, and then what did that look like progressing from there? Because from there, I never knew about that piece. I just knew about the stockbroking piece. So what was that transition?
So investment banking, the terminology there. Stockbroker is an individual that works with high net worth individuals, sells stocks and bonds.
Yes.
That's what I did, but only on an institutional level. I work with cities, counties, states, credit unions, savings and loans at the time. Mm-hmm. So it amounts to basically a really sophisticated sales job.
Yeah.
But yeah, I jumped off straight, into the tank, went to work for the firm that my friend was working for at the time. And 2 weeks later, SEC came in, stepped in and shut the company down.
Oh my goodness.
So then I had no job. I had no school because I just left school in the middle of the semester, couldn't turn back on that.
Wow.
So I basically, and I had no license because I was training to get my license then. So I had to study for 90 days before the state would allow you to take the test.
Yes.
So back then they had a yellow pages, a phone book.
Yeah.
So I went through the phone book with security firms. All the way from A to when I finally got my job, I went to work for a company called Underwood Newhouse. So they were the last people in the phone book. Yeah. And so they, because I had no license, I had no value to them at that point. It was all about proving myself, but I had nothing that I could show them.
Yeah.
Because they were looking for people that had production.
Yeah.
I was still studying to take the exam.
Right.
Yeah, so I went to work for them. Really oldest firm in the state of Texas.
Wow.
Yeah, oldest brokerage firm in the state of Texas, so that was unique. I was only the third or fourth black person that they'd ever hired, so that was unique.
Yeah.
Very, there's a city here called River Oaks. It was that type of community.
Yes.
Very blue blood type community.
Yeah.
So, but that didn't matter. None of that in retrospect mattered to me because we always came up in a family where we were equal.
Yeah.
We considered ourselves equal. We weren't blinded by racism because we knew it existed.
Yeah.
But we were accustomed to being in environments where we were very few. Yeah. And we knew how to acclimate to that environment.
Wow. So you feel like you had that just from your parents having that?
Yes.
Did that naturally come down through you? Like you never had insecurity in that?
Never had insecurity.
Wow.
Never had insecurity in that. I come from a family, parents and grandparents. My grandfather was a farmer down in Sugar Land side of Houston, a cotton farmer. He worked for the property was owned by a white individual. So we always interacted. You know, my dad at Baylor College of Medicine, he was one of the few minorities at Baylor College of Medicine. He knew how to act. So we were always in and around people that gave us that opportunity to hone our skills. So to speak. And, you know, we were always taught, you know, you are who you are. Yeah. Be proud of that, stand up for that, and never apologize for that. And keep going forward.
Wow. And so I love that it was not even a conversation, sounds like. It was just something that was instilled.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you instill that in your children as well, or do you feel like it was so was it a conversation with your children, or was that a natural instilling as well, do you think?
No, I think for my kids it's a natural instilling, but we still had these conversations to this day. Yeah. You know, had one with my son. We were in Dallas last week, had that conversation with him. It's like, hey, you know, you're put in a position for a purpose. Yeah. Honor that purpose. You know, don't, maybe it's not for me because, you know, too many people not like me there. No. Step in for the opportunity and go for it. Wow. And, you know, people have success, to me. People have success in all types of different things. We're in a society now where we are blessed. We see a lot of minorities in high positions. Yeah. They've gotten there not because they were, the tokens. They've gotten there because they, too, knew this is my opportunity. Yeah. I don't see the difference in terms of opportunity between black and white. Yeah. Now, there's a true difference in the country right now where that's concerned. Yeah. But you can't be blinded by it if you're going to continue to try to succeed. Absolutely.
Okay, that's really, really good. And so you got with this company, the oldest company in Texas, broker, and did you immediately start to excel, or what was that? So, okay.
No, so I literally sat there for 90 days studying 8 hours a day. Okay. I'd come home. We were married by then. Oh. I'd come home. Eva would cook. I'd eat something, then I'd go up to my room, to a room that we had in our townhouse, and I would study for another 4 to 5 hours. Wow. I was only paid minimum wage at that time. So I got a check every month for about $520. Oh. So I had another job that I had worked selling tropical fish. So I would leave the firm at 4:30, whatever time their cutoff was. I'd go sell fish for 3 hours. Wow. Then I'd go home, I'd eat, and I'd study till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
And then start it all over.
Wow.
Yeah. And I knew I only had one opportunity because the sales manager at the time told me that. You know, we were in a firm that was predominantly white. He was Jewish. I was black. He said, so I'm going to give you this opportunity. Because I'm Jewish in a white firm. You're black in a white firm. Oh, wow. You got one opportunity. You pass it, you keep a job. You fail it, can't give you a second opportunity. So I knew I only had one opportunity to get it. Yeah. And so, there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. But so, did that even bother you? Like, I can't even imagine you under pressure.
Yeah, every day. Every day. Yeah, I'm always thinking off the cuff. What if this happens? What if this happens? How's this going to go? But, you know, we learned, it's a lot of pressure. Yeah. I can answer that for you. Since my pastor always says something that stays with me now. He always says, you know, the baddest things that ever happened to me never happened. Because, and it's like, well, what does he mean? Pastor Eastman, what do you mean by that? Yeah. Well, you know, I'm always dreaming of stuff that's gonna happen to me, and it's bad, but it never has happened. Yeah. So it's like, we can get in our own mind. Yeah. And before we know it, it's like, oh my God, the catastrophe is here. It's like, right. But is it? Yeah. You know, so from that vantage point, going back to that, studied, passed the exam. Yeah. And then, you know, it was 100% commission job. Oh. So I kept my job at the fish store. Okay. Which was called Akarama, for about 3 years. Okay. Yeah. I would still work this job as a business professional in a suit and tie every day and get in my car and change, T-shirt and a pair of jeans and go sell fish for 3 hours to support myself. And Eva was working as well, but that's what we did.
That's very honorable, though.
Yeah, well, you know, I didn't ever look at it as, oh my God, you know, what if people knew I was selling fish in the afternoon? I still, you know, every day did that hustle, got in there, learned how to sell, learned what to sell. You know, I had a really good background in college. Okay. The gentleman that I told you that introduced me to this business. Okay. For 2 years prior to him giving me that opportunity, he nudged me along the whole way. I read the Wall Street Journal every day. He'd call me in the afternoons sometimes, quiz me. Hey, what did the market do today? Where did the market close? You know, what's the consumer rate today? What are interest rates today? What did the Fed do today? Yeah. And, you know, I was still in college. I was still having fun. So some days it was like, I don't know what they did today. He's like, wrong answer. He wouldn't talk to me for another 3 weeks. Oh, wow. So I learned. Yeah.
So you were preparing for this real behind the scenes.
Yes.
You know what else I really appreciate about you? I feel like you don't struggle with ego. Would you say that about yourself as well?
Yeah, I definitely don't have an ego. Yeah. And for those people, you know, I've learned to center myself around people that are like-minded with me. I see people, I've built homes for people that a lot of ego is involved. Yeah. I don't necessarily know if that's just them ego or if it's just the positions that they've been put in. Yeah. And so entitlement has come along and made them feel like that. Now, that's not by far the majority of people that I've dealt with. But, you know, for me, no. There's no you. Because any facet of life, there's always somebody that's doing something bigger and better than you are.
Yeah, that's true.
It just is.
Yeah.
And so, you know, why go around? Because and the other side of that, too, is that any day you may be here, but it doesn't keep you from being here. Yeah. I try to connect with 20 people a day, which took, you know, 100, 120 phone calls. Okay. To get 20 people just to listen to my spill for that day. Yeah. So yeah, you know, physically, did it beat me down? No. Mentally, yeah. Yeah. But you know, I came to know another guy that started with me at the same time. We put our heads together. You know, we basically were. I would say we held each other's hands in terms of, you know, when you're down, when they're beating you up on the phone, talk to me about it. Because I'm getting beat up too. Yeah. And we're both going to go through this together. Yes. So that worked. Yeah. And we had success with it. Yeah. And still to this day, you have to get people, oh man, I can't do it because, you know, I don't want all that rejection. Well, you got to get the rejection. You got to get so many no's to finally get a yes. Yeah. And that became the game, so to speak. Yeah. Okay, well, no, they weren't interested. The next one will be.
That's it. And so you working this job that is a little bit of demanding, I'm imagining, but you weren't missing like dinner or Mallory's activities or anything like that. So how were you able to manage that part? Or were you at some time missing some?
The market closes at 3. Okay. Doesn't mean if you got success, the successful people were leaving at 3. Okay. Market closed, nothing I could sell my people, I'm gone. Okay. Well, that wasn't us. Okay. You know, we'd stay there till 5, 5:30. Yeah. Still making our phone calls. Yeah. But it was quote unquote business hours, so to speak. So, you know, once that shut down, I wasn't going to go calling people at dinner time. Right. That just wasn't me. There are people that do that. Yeah. It just wasn't my fit. Yeah. For one, because I was already beat up all day long. Yeah. For 2, I needed my family time. Yeah. Because I can have my baddest day, but if I can get with family. Yeah. And I can just reap the benefits of that, then that's the win for me.
Yeah. So that was kind of refueling you. Yeah.
To this day, that still refuels me.
Yeah. I know you love your family so much. Yes.
That's priority. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So at what point did you decide to go out and start your own company to build homes?
So, you know, I moved from retail, circled back 3 years later, got another opportunity to go back into institutional sales because at that point, they had heard about my success. You know, he's a good salesman. He knows how to work with his clients. He knows how to benefit his clients. He's not just there for the sale. So I got another opportunity to go back into the institutional side. Okay. I did that. Had a good run doing that. But the business changed a little bit in the sense that you didn't necessarily have to work for a firm. You could go independent. You could have your own office space. You could do things like that. But to back up just a little bit, you know, when I went to work institutional, some people, we sat in a big boardroom. You know, there were 100 guys, salesmen, and we all, you know, hustled for the same inventory that the firm had. Okay. So, you know, there was a lot of clashing just internally within the firm. Okay. Some people were given an area code. I was given an area code to call on. Okay. I was given 5 states. And they were all New England states. New Hampshire, Connecticut, Delaware, Massachusetts, Rhode Island. I thought I hit the lotto back then. I was like, oh, they know who I am. They're giving me 5 states. Yeah. It took me about a month to realize that was going to be the curse of death, because these 5 states were not doing any of the business that we needed to do, that I needed to sell them. They had a lot of loan demand. You're in the mortgage industry. Yes. They were making, the people that I were calling on were making a lot of loans. Okay. Back in the day, you had savings and loans. Savings and loans did the work that mortgage companies do. Okay. So you had all these savings and loans. That's who we'd call on and, you know, talk to the president of the savings and loan. I'd like to show you a security, $10 million security, da-da-da-da-da. I don't have $10 million to spend because I'm making all my loans. So I realized quickly that's why they gave me 5 states, because the loan demand in that part of Massachusetts, in that part of the country, was so heavy that they knew it'd be few and far between for me to get the business. Moving forward into that, I'd have to go to these states that I called on, make appointments. I found out fairly quickly, you know, I'm on the telephone. I get a good phone call. Yeah, you know, Greg, I'd like to see you. Let's set up a time. You know, how about 2 weeks from now, next Monday? Great, you know, look forward to seeing you. I fly out, you know, here to see Mr. Bradley. Who may I tell him it's called? It's Greg Taylor. You're Greg Taylor? Can he reschedule? So I got enough of that. Yeah. Just like, oh man, this is rough.
After flying out, that kept happening. Oh wow.
Yes. And it wasn't the dominant thing that happened, but a good enough percentage of it happened. Yeah. So I settled into, you know, I'm going to make sure that something benefits me on this trip. I'm going to try to find a nice restaurant when I walk the city. I was talking to Jesse, your husband, earlier about, you know, just going to different cities and walking them and seeing what's going on when he's in the city. Yeah. So I said, you know, I'm not just going to go to the hotel for the night. I'm already beat up. Yeah. You know, I'm going to find a nice restaurant. Yeah. I'm going to see what the city likes. I'm going to see what their food is like. And I'm also going to find the nicest neighborhood and just drive the neighborhood and look at the houses. Yeah. That fast forwarded into the home building side. Wow. Yeah. So we had another friend of mine that's a big home builder. And he basically said, you know, I don't know, man. You're looking at all these houses. You got all these ideas. I don't know why you don't go and start building houses. Yeah. Well, I had moved forward in this side of the business where I was independent. I wasn't working. I was working for a firm, but I wasn't having to be accountable. Okay. On a day-to-day basis. Show up at an office. Hey, where you going? See you. I had my own office, so that gave me the time to kind of start this. Had a neighbor down the street who had a couple of lots. He's a big framer. Framers, you know, the guys who put up the sticks, who put up the wood. He has a huge company, and he said, let's do something together. So we started the first house together. He spends a lot of time in Denver. He lives here in Friendswood, you know, 2 or 3 months out of the year, lives in Denver most of the time. And he said, you know, we've started this business together, but I'm not facilitating it. I'm not giving you the energy that you need, you know, as an equal partner. Yeah. So, you know, it's yours. Wow. So then it's like, oh, okay, here we go. So I jumped in full tilt. You know, I liked it. going back to something that you can do with your hands.
Yeah.
In the securities business, the financial industry, there's a great amount of financial good feelings from it. Can be. The downside is, I do $50 million transaction. I never saw the money come in. I never saw the securities go out. It was all a telephone call.
Yeah.
Here, I can touch something. I can walk in. I can look at a piece of paint. I'm not an artist. I'm a detail freak.
Yeah.
But it gives me an opportunity to see something, to grow something, to create something.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how it kind of kept going forward.
So when you saw houses on your walks and just inspired by that, what made you feel like you could just start that business? Were you just already in that headspace because you're working with $1 million clients? Like, how did you know that could be something you could do?
Because I'd seen other people have success with it.
Okay.
So if they can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not. I had another builder tell me, they did a great job with what their homes, and it's not rocket science. It's that's a valid point.
Yeah.
Not rocket science.
Yeah.
So the first house, I learned. Every subcontractor that I hired, I walked behind them.
Yeah.
What do you do? How do you do it? How does this work? Da 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 da. And then I learned. And then, as I said, I had another friend who was a custom home builder. His wife grew up across the street from us as children. So I've known him for a very long time. And he if I made one phone call, he'd lend a hand. Yeah, I'm gonna send a guy here. Here's what this guy needs to do.
Yeah.
If I didn't understand something or didn't know what trade should go next, he pointed me in the right direction.
Yeah.
So. But once you do it one time, if you engage yourself with the process, anybody can do it, quite honestly.
Wow. And you're really big on relationships too. That has come up several times from the beginning of your professional life to today, I'm sure.
Keep relationships.
Yeah.
Keep relationships. I've learned, and I continue to learn, there's not enough time for every relationship. So I'm going to really nurture the good ones. And not going to concern myself with the ones that don't have any benefits, so to speak. Now by saying that, let's go back to, the ego part. No ego concern. Just know that, there's not enough time in the day to visit with everybody.
Yeah.
So you might as well, surround yourself. Like I tell my kids. A guy told me this a long time ago. I was walking out of a restaurant, and I don't know why he told me this, but he said, he was the valet. I didn't valet. I was walking past him, but I'd see him. I ate at this restaurant every week, and hey, man, what's up? He's like, it's all good, man. He's like, he said, I'm gonna mention something to you. I'm like, okay, cool. So he said, there are two types of people in this world. He said, there are people. I said, really? And he said, yeah, there are people that can add and multiply, and there are people that can divide and subtract. He said, I always try to center myself with those people that can add and multiply.
Yeah, I like that.
And so I've kept that.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we can be beneficial to each other, then let's have a great relationship.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna pull away from each other, or if it's gonna give me so much negative energy that I'm walking in down and not happy to be with people to give me positive energy, let's release ourselves from that.
Yeah. And how do you release yourself in a relationship? How does that look like for you to say this relationship isn't working out? How do you
Thank God I haven't had that in front of me many times.
Yeah. You pick them good, huh?
No.
Why you say no so bad?
I don't do well with that. So as a result, I'm friendly with everybody I meet. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that we're going to have a close, nurturing relationship. When it has happened, when I've been in friendships and all of a sudden I realize our values aren't the same, or for whatever reason I'm going a different direction, or I kind of just let it fade.
Okay.
Because I'm not a real confrontational person.
Yeah.
If it has to be confrontational, then
you will cuss somebody out.
Yeah. My cursing's gotten a lot better as of recent.
Praise
but
God.
I'm not afraid to do that.
Yeah.
But that being said, yeah, I just kind of let it fade.
Yeah.
On its own. Eventually, people understand.
Yeah.
Because they know, and some of it is not always because that person had the issue.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it upon my issue.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not friends anymore because I had an issue. I'm the one changed. Whatever.
Yeah.
Just need to try to be, and so that's why family is essential to me, because your family should be the people that add and multiply.
Yes.
If they're not, then we can easily, because we're family, we can easily get that in check.
Yeah.
And we can go on, and hopefully we don't insult each other. Mm-mm. We know it came from a space of love.
Yeah.
With friends, that's not always the case.
True. You don't have enough context.
Associates.
Yeah.
It's not always the case.
Yeah.
It's like, he stabbed at me and he meant it. You know? He didn't mean it for my good. He meant it for his good.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So,
we need to go our separate ways here.
Yeah, and you've been around me enough. You basically know my whole nucleus of friends, because my friends are people that I can pull into my family. My friends are my family.
Yeah.
And so I hear people say all the time, man, I got a bunch of friends. I don't.
Yeah.
But I'm not ashamed of that.
Right.
I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if I had a bunch of friends, I'd have time to have a bunch of friends anyway.
Yeah.
So, it's a fit for me.
It is a fit. I have so many things I want to talk about, but I want to try to figure out a way to land it at some point. Do you want to share a little bit about getting into like franchises? Because you did that at one point.
Yes.
I don't know where that fell in your career. Like, were you still a stockbroker?
So that fell in my career. So you mentioned Kirby earlier. Mm-hmm. So Kirby's dad, Calvin, good friend of mine. Mm-hmm. We're like I say with Calvin, we're cousins, but we're not cousins through blood. We're cousins through my wife and his wife, his first wife, being cousins. Mm-hmm. So Calvin, I brought Calvin into the investment banking industry. Calvin was just come out of a franchise deal with a couple of investors, needed to do something different. Wasn't afraid to say, hey man, how does this work? What do you do? Da 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 da. I said, let me show you how it works. So we sat down. I got him introduced into the business, made an introduction for him to get hired. He had to go through the same thing I went through, sit and study for his test, da da da. He reciprocated by saying, I have a couple of franchise agreements that I have an opportunity to do something with. Mm-hmm. You want to consider doing it with me?
Yeah.
So we built that together.
Okay.
We built that Popeyes franchise together. Learned real quickly it's more than a notion.
Yeah.
More than a notion.
Yeah.
It will eat your lunch.
Yeah.
And that's one of those deals, if you don't open a number of stores.
Okay.
We had one store with the rights for 2 more.
Okay.
Popeyes at the time was putting a lot of pressure on all its franchisees to continue to open those stores.
Okay.
And open them in a timely fashion.
Okay.
We were still really getting grips on what we had, trying to figure out if it made sense.
Yeah.
And so at the time, it didn't make sense. And Calvin had gotten busy with the investment banking business. I was still doing that business as well.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out how to run this. Eva and my dad primarily handled it. Mm-hmm. I really didn't get involved with the day-to-day. My dad was essential for us there. But, it got to the point where you realize in the franchise business, maybe not all of them, but specifically where Popeyes was concerned. Okay. Popeyes may have started off as a mom and pop deal, but they quickly went to a model where they needed franchisees that were 15 and 20 stores.
Oh, okay, wow.
Or more.
Yeah.
And I get it. Why work with 100 people who have 1 or 2 stores?
Right.
When I could work 10 people who got 10 stores.
Absolutely.
So that type of pressure, you got these rights, you need to open this store. If you're not going to open these stores, we're going to pull the rights from you. Yeah. Well, we spent money for that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's not fair.
Yeah.
And basically told them that, and they were like, reach a contract.
Yeah.
We want to talk about fair. Reach a contract.
Oh, wow.
It's like, okay, get it. And so, it was a great experience to do it. it's a great experience to get the hell out of it.
Yeah. So, and you were open to trying it, and it just, hey, sweetie, and it just wasn't what you thought, and you got out of there.
It was a great ride, but yeah, we also had a store that didn't have a drive-through.
Okay.
We didn't have an opportunity for a drive-through.
Oh, okay.
When we first opened it, we were next door to, at the time, what was called Blockbuster. Now there's streaming, so nobody uses Blockbuster.
Yeah.
But we had, buy a 3-piece, get a free movie next door. We did stuff like that to compensate for not having a drive-through.
Gotcha.
But that got difficult.
Yeah.
And we were in a market, quite honestly, we were in a little town called Crosby.
Yeah.
Crosby is a pretty good migration of people from Louisiana.
Yeah.
They know how to cook good food.
Right. They know
Popeyes as well.
Yeah.
But, other markets, people may eat at Popeyes 3 nights a week.
Yeah.
That market, like I can cook chicken better at home than
right.
So,
yeah.
So we were up against that too.
Yeah.
And then the margins were thin enough, not thick enough. They were thin enough where it's like, man, this is a hard business.
Yeah.
Now, had it been my full-time business, and maybe I had 2 or 3 other stores, I could lay off pricing at a better rate.
Yeah.
Maybe that makes sense, but one store did.
It just didn't make sense.
So we were fortunate to sell it.
Yeah.
And move along.
And go about your business. Okay. I really, again, stories that I've seen, I remember having the biscuits as a child, but I didn't never know how that looked as an adult.
Yeah.
And now I know.
And it like I say, I didn't deal with it day to day.
Yeah.
Eva did. My dad did.
Yeah.
They saw the numbers on a day. I got the end of the week reports.
Yeah.
This is what we made.
Yeah.
This is what we didn't. This is what you need to write a check for.
Yeah.
Like, I get tired of hearing that.
Yeah.
So, it's like, we're going to move right along with it.
Okay, so another question I would love to ask is, this,
hey, girl.
I am assuming is, that's Emmy Lou, everybody. I'm assuming that this home that you've built is your dream home. Would you agree with that?
It is definitely a dream for us.
Yeah.
It was a house. We've been fortunate to build this house 23 years ago.
Yeah.
Or something like that. It had everything we wanted.
Yeah.
Still does have everything we want. Bigger than what we need now. But grandkids are here, so it's still this free fall house. We built the house with family in mind.
Yeah.
Anybody is welcome here. Anybody can hang out here.
Yeah.
The appointments are nice, but we wanted a home where I'm not afraid for the kids to run and play. And, I don't want it torn up either.
Right.
But we're not afraid to let everybody get in here and have a good time.
I want to know, how did you manage to create such a beautiful home, but it's so comfy, cozy? Like, you did exactly what you said.
So here again, we look. Even I look and think about things, and so I went to a showcase in another neighborhood, really nice neighborhood, years ago. Saw a killer house.
Yeah.
Said, I want to build that house, just that house right there. Met the architect, young guy at the time, younger than me, so he was really young then, and sat down with him, talked to him about our budget. He said, that house that you saw, you can't build that house.
Okay.
You can't afford that house. He said, looking at your budget, you could build this. Let me show you something else. And he was incredibly creative.
Okay.
We knew we wanted something that was Floridian, a Florida style, open house, something that looked like it would be on the water, but of course we're not on the water.
Yeah.
And so he helped us along that curve.
Okay.
You should do this. He was really good about, because I didn't have a feel for, what a 20 by 20 bedroom looked like, for example.
Yeah.
He'd say, go in your garage. That's the biggest room in your house at the time. And tape it out. Mark it out on the floor, and you'll see what it looks like.
Wow, okay.
So he helped us through a lot of that.
Okay.
And so then when we came to build it, I was not a builder at that time.
Yeah.
When we came to build it, we negotiated a deal with one of the builders in the neighborhood. But the deal was, you can put your name on the house, but I want to build it. And that's when I called my other friend in that I told you about, and he would give me all the trades.
Wow.
Send this guy to you, this needs to come next.
Okay.
This is what he's going to charge to do this. The builder oversaw it.
Okay.
At the time, and the builder was happy to do the deal because he wanted the trades that my buddy had. Because my buddy at that time was a really high-end builder.
Yeah.
So he wanted those trades. So, yeah, we knew we just wanted a casual elegance.
Yeah.
I needed a house that looked pretty, but, we're not, other than having to work at the time, we're not suit and tie type of people.
Yeah.
We're T-shirts and jeans.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of house I wanted.
Yeah. Now, when you build your dream home, do you reach a level of like, I have arrived, or is there a sense of accomplishment? Or for you, because again, you're always just so even keel.
Yeah. A huge sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to arrive.
Okay.
I'm not there yet.
Okay.
As the pastor said today, God's got a lot more for us. Yeah, I don't. We've not arrived. Have we had some success?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do I get knocked in the head ever so often? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And does it draw me back? But yeah. So I'm still evolving. I'm still trying to arrive, and I don't know what arrived looks like.
Yeah.
All I know is, if I can have fun along the way, if the people around me enjoy whatever we have.
Yeah.
People say all the time. I talked to a guy a couple of weeks ago, and he was, we went to this home, and the layout was unbelievable. I'm like, what did they have?
Yeah.
He's like, they had lobster, and he starts going in some type of sophisticated shrimp they have. My best friend is a chef.
Yeah.
Right? Grew up, known each other since high school.
Yeah.
So I've seen the best food that's out there.
Right.
And he's like, what'd y'all do for the weekend? The same guy was telling me, what'd y'all do for the weekend? I said, man, we had an unbelievable time.
Yeah.
My grandkids were here.
Yeah.
We ate hot dogs.
Yeah.
And they had cheese on there. Yeah. And he's like, oh my God, man. He's like, you're always that way. It's like, no, that's real.
That is you, yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
I'd like to try different food. I have tried different food.
Yeah.
I've experienced some of that, but don't let it change you.
Yeah.
Don't let it change you. Because at any day and time, you walk along the street every day, you see somebody that's doing worse than you.
Yeah.
Somebody's doing better than you.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, arrived, not here.
Yeah.
We're just going to keep evolving.
Yeah.
Keep enjoying it, take what life has given us.
Yeah.
And try to make the most of that.
I love it. You're so wise.
I'm learning. I'm learning every day.
Okay, I'm going to try to land this plane. So, what would you say is the best advice you've given your kids? You have an amazing son, an amazing daughter, some of the kindest human beings.
Thank you.
Walking this planet.
Thank you.
What would you say are, okay, I want to hear some advice you gave them, and also a moment that you can think of that has brought you like the most joy from both children.
So, Kim, I get every day, I get joy from them.
Yeah.
We've got 6 grandkids.
Yeah.
Mallory has 4. And, for those who know Mallory has birth, 3 children.
Yes.
Her has a wonderful stepson, so she's got 4 children. Vincent has 2 children. That's been wonderful for us.
Yeah.
Wonderful gift, for them, but for us as grandparents, we enjoy that. I don't, when we talk about advice, I don't necessarily say, hey, here's the advice I'm giving you. Mm-hmm. We talk so much because I visit with both my kids every day.
Yeah.
And just in our general conversations, I learn from them, they learn from me.
Yeah.
We discuss, what's going on in their day, what happened with them, what benefited them. But if I had to look back at it, in terms of advice, our lifestyle of just being open to everybody.
Yeah.
Until it hurts. Now, if you get somebody that burns you, we get out of their way.
Yeah.
But we're not going to be hardened by that. We're not going to close ourselves up and not meet people as a result of that. So for me, the best advice I would think that I've given them is just, open yourself up.
Yeah.
Know that you were born for greatness. Yeah. Not because Greg Taylor said it.
Yeah.
Because that's what God says.
Yeah.
So step out there on faith.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it always going to be an easy path? No. Is it always going to be a path that you're completely comfortable with?
Yeah.
No. But I would say if you have a path that everything that's going to happen, well, then do you ever learn?
Right.
sometimes I think I'd rather have that path.
Yeah.
Because, some lessons you don't want to learn.
Yeah.
But I think, if you go out there and try to get something different every day, you're going to learn. You're going to achieve some things. At the end of the day, if you can come back to ground, which is home, which is, man, I got beat up today. Nobody did what I wanted them to. Nobody showed up when I wanted them to. Because I struggle with a lot of that in the business that I am in right now. I promise, I tell people, this person's going to happen today. This is going to happen today. But it's all contingent on what those trades tell me. So I spend a fair amount of time. Well, here's why they didn't show up. Or I'm sorry they didn't show up. I'm the end all to be all with the client. But I have to deal with these people who sometimes don't show up. And so sometimes at the end of the day, it's like, oh my God, man, did I make any headway? But I come home and it's like, here's headway. Here's happiness. Here's solitude. I love what I do. Don't get me wrong. But there's ups and downs and everything. But if you can circle back and, go to a football game, a high school football game on a Thursday, or a 6-year-old's, 5-year-old's dance class on a Wednesday, I'm winning.
You are winning,
that's my premise.
Oh, I think that is so beautiful.
You drink a little wine. I should say that too.
He has the best wine here, people.
I like to drink some wine.
Well, this has been so great.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
This is a wonderful experience for me.
Listen,
as well.
I just thank you for being you. I don't want to get emotional, but you have been such a beautiful example for me.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah. So
I don't know any other way to do it. That's who we are.
Yes. So thank you. I never cry on my podcast.
But don't do it now.
I know. Let's not start today.
It may ruin my makeup too. Don't do it.
I know y'all gonna enjoy this episode, and we have exciting things that we're gonna be doing with you and your company in the coming months. So you will hear much about that. But thank y'all for tuning in. Do you want to share where people can find you, or do you want to wait until we do a bigger reveal?
I'm gonna wait till you do a bigger reveal.
We got a bigger reveal coming, but I know y'all are gonna enjoy this episode.